really concerning. Apparently, they've been putting them up all around Wales. Someone's taken a photograph of them and they've seen them being put up all around. I think these things are actually something to be concerned about. These things have come about. I mean, I've been supporting Extinction Rebellion and the Green Party, but the way that those groups have reacted to Donald Trump getting elected, even though Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has teamed up with him, I think it's a bit childish. But the problem is that these groups and parties who have been doing a lot of campaigning, and a lot of them have been getting arrested illegally and so forth, but they've been doing it in the name of the environment, supposedly in protecting us all, right? The thing is that there are some people who believe that there is a climate emergency and some of them who believe there isn't, right? If there's going to be one, you can't really stop it or do anything about it anyway. Having all these strange detector things around is, I don't think, can help it. I don't think that these things are here to actually protect us at all. I think they're here for another form of taxation or enforcement. Now, the thing with this is my opinion about these devices, right? This is what my opinion is about them. We've had the police who are supposedly concerned about road safety. Then they get everyone interested in road safety, and then everyone sort of they try to propagandize road safety in certain ways, so everyone kind of almost becomes advocates of that cause, right? Because they do the way they strategically do the speed awareness courses. Well, you can have any laws that you want in this country, right? Depending what the people want the laws for, or you can have any types of cars. But knowing that they put all the road signers out illegally and unlawfully, and then they started taking advantage out of us, particularly like on the A1 and other roads that were psychologically, strategically misleading or planned to take advantage out of persons and get money. Some of it is for road safety, but it became more than road safety. It became a way to extort and extract money and play with people, mislead people for a profit. And you're not even allowed to take driving licenses off people according to the law with the proper Magna Carta in force. You can't take people's tools or means for their job from them. That's also in some of the charters as well, like the charters of London and so forth. Anyway, now, I think up to this point, you might have, I don't know if you've seen videos or actually seen any of these police officers, but when you get these police officers in these mobile safety vans with the speed guns, right, or police officers who are standing at the side of the road measuring speed, if you speak to any of these officers or talk to them or challenge them, right, then they claim it's all about safety. It's all about your safety and the safety of other citizens. They say that we're fining people and measuring speed to keep it safe. Okay, so that they make one claim, right, that your speed of your vehicle is all about safety, and that's the only reason they're there is for your safety and the safety of anyone else. Given that most people, if they could help it, prefer not to have an accident or a crash, prefer not to damage their vehicle unless they're a maniac or after someone or whatever, which is something in itself to prove. But the majority of people would like to leave home and return home with a safe journey without any incident or event, right? No one wants to have an accident. Now, they might have or cause an accident by accident. Now, all that is something of itself. That is something of police and of the existence of cameras and the use of cameras. It's all on the safety factor. So they're taking money from you and fining you and even taking driving license off you, your job, because you may or may not be unsafe, right? Now, that's fair and proper, but what we ended up finding on these motorways, when they made these big wide motorways very clear with all these signs over them, it was meant to, not have any traffic jams anymore or any queues or backlogs. But what we found with this government is that, not content with building brand new roads and making them very clear and a lot safer, therefore you would have thought you wouldn't need cameras on there or any speed limits anymore if the roads are actually a lot better roads and easier to use, right? They introduce these new speed limits on big motorways, and then they'll drop it down to 50 or 30, and then they'll say, speed limit is there for air quality control. So now, if you were driving along on a perfectly safe road, now they're dropping the speed limit, not because you might cause an accident or it's unsafe, so the air quality. Apparently contributing to air quality, although some people have got electric cars and don't contribute as much to air quality, right? So you can't have a police officer at the side of the road or motorway saying that you are driving unsafe and it's all about safety when it's not. It's actually about now air quality, right? So when you're driving along, you might not be causing a safety or hazard to cause an accident, but now your vehicle is apparently causing emissions. It's your vehicles. You're driving the vehicle safely, right? But if your vehicle is polluting too much, then they're going to take your driving license off you. But your driving license, you're not driving unsafe. That's the thing. The police are there on a normal road with a normal speed camera because potentially you might hurt somebody or harm them, right? That's the only reason the speed limit is low. Now, on these new motorways, they're saying that, driving at that speed, it's not going to harm or hurt anyone or dangerous, but your vehicle's putting out all this pollution, so you have to slow down. So when he gives you a ticket, he's not giving you it because you're unsafe or a danger. So now the police chief, the police are giving you a ticket and threatening to take your driving license off you, but it's not the guy at the side of the road in Church Stretton on the A49 in Shropshire saying that you are a danger to other people. You might hurt them or cause an accident. Now, no, it's perfectly safe. You're not going to cause an accident to anyone or hurt anyone. But I'm sorry, we said the speed limit is 20 mile an hour on this motorway now, or 50, and you just didn't do what we said. You didn't comply with our signs or do what we said, so we're just going to fine you for disobedience, right? So this is now what it's about, disobedience. So it's not dangerous, it's not unsafe, there's no reason to not drive at 70 mile an hour, but we said it's going to be 60 now, and you will obey that. If you don't obey it, then we'll take your driving license from you. So what they're actually doing is they're taking your driving license from you on the basis of disobedience. But not disobedience for any alarming reason that a police chief in Shropshire or a officer in Shropshire at the side of the road is mortally fearful that you may hurt or harm someone or endanger someone's life in an immediate accident or emergency. No, apparently there is no accident, there is no emergency, there is no one at risk or harm of an incident or pick their body up from the back of a truck or under a bus or anything. No, you just didn't the sign. You didn't comply with this sign, right? So it's all about you will obey us because just on the pure basis of we say that it's 50 mile an hour for 15 minutes, and no child is at risk, nobody's going to get run over on a Pelican crossing, just because we say drive slower. So it's purely obedience, right? Now, you'll say, well, no, it's the air quality. Yeah, but there's no accident. You can't say that it's about an accident. There is no mother who is had a child run over or killed, or a baby in an accident or whatever, who's doing a campaign to slow people down because of accidents or dangers. Now it's actually Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil who we're meant to be supporting, because we all want to eat healthy and have a healthy planet and so forth. But all these cars are pumping this stuff out, and apparently it's harming the environment and nature very slowly and gradually, and you've just got to slow down at these random intervals or whatever because of air quality, which is absolute complete tosh. The fact that the government gave you those vehicles in the first place, and then now all the electric vehicles are blowing up, so it's effectively, we paid for a very clear motorway, which is a lot more efficient and easy to use, but you can't use it to its full extent because now they're just basically trying to take more money off you, and they want to make some kind of profit or money out of it, when apparently road taxes are going up anyway. They've already been taking money of the congestion charge in London when it's illegal, and ULEZ. So this is the thing. If it hadn't have been taking your driving licence off you, if it hadn't have been that aspect to it, I don't think it would have been that bad if it was just fines and they kept coming after you for the money. Even if they did send people around to, if you didn't pay the fine, is to send the bailiffs round. Even though apparently they can't take your livelihood off you. I don't know what they do about taking your car off you, but they're not supposed to be able to take your tools off you that you need to earn a living. So I don't know how they can take your car if you're a delivery driver. This is the thing. So on that basis, these air quality detectors or carbon emission detectors, right, what apparently go purple, the internal siren goes off when it goes purple and you need to go indoors. Why would we need to? Since when on the history of the planet has anything in the environment been that bad that you need to go indoors? Right? Are they going to be enforcing this policy? Are they going to be prosecuting people for being out on the streets? Like when this is very much like World War II with the air raid sirens and the bomb shelters. And this is why they've been showing that 1984 film, when everyone has to comply and so forth. And that's definitely the way it's going now. But now it's on the premise of the environment and air quality. But these are the people who are making and selling all of the products that cause this to the environment. And further to that, they've all been bought up by certain companies like BlackRock Vanguard, who orchestrate all these companies, all the chocolate bar biscuit companies. Prince Andrew apparently and Ferguson were involved in all this company buying up, and now apparently he's got no money and he's poor and he didn't have any businesses because no one wants to do business with him, and he's been given £3 million or what by Charles. But what happened to all his business contacts? He's had to cut and sever the ties because people were snooping around and finding out that they might be connected to BlackRock Vanguard and these trillions beyond leaders, beyond their disposal, and the rest of it, with military style campaigns, etc., right? So it's like, since when has anything, I even think him up Pompeii when the volcano went off and the entire city was turned to stone in a volcano eruption, petrified or whatever you call it. Even then, these things wouldn't have saved them. If they'd have had these detectors in Pompeii, right, and the volcanoes, but the volcano probably smokes quite a lot. We wouldn't have saved them, I don't think, because all of the gases and that lot flood out after it goes off. So I mean, and look at Iceland. Iceland is having. It's now common to have earthquakes in Iceland. All of the buildings in Iceland, right, are cracking. I've been watching videos in Iceland, right, and all the houses are cracking. They've had to evacuate villagers. buildings are falling down and falling to pieces. The road has been covered in lava, and they've had to. Well, I don't think they can snowplow it. They've had to do something to it, resurface the entire road. Basically, they've had to effectively get some kind of like industrial. I don't know how they do it, but some kind of like equivalent of like a snow basher, but like for freaking solid rock or something, or even like drilling a tunnel, and then they've had to resurface the whole road. None of that can be predicted by one of these things here, right? They've got earthquake detectors and tremor detectors, but you know, an earthquake can suddenly start from nowhere and every single house can fall down, right? And then how are you going to go indoors then? If this thing here that they put in Wales, right, what happens if we ended up getting earthquakes like Iceland, right? Oh, there's an earthquake, go back indoors. Oh, no, they're actually what they're doing. No, you've got to leave your houses now. Leave your houses. So right then, this is the mentality of this government, right? Can you imagine if they got these things in Iceland, right? And you can imagine if Iceland had the same air quality issues as here, right? So, this thing turns purple, right? This thing turns purple, a siren goes off because the air quality is too bad. Everyone goes into the houses, right? But yet, then an earthquake suddenly starts, and the houses start cracking and crumbling and falling to bits, right? So they have to freaking run out. This is sounding a little bit like the Speaker of the House of Lords. I've forgotten his name now, but it's some kind of Scottish-sounding name, McFall or something like that, McFall or McAlfall or something like that. Because I've only just looked who's the current Speaker of the Lords. He was just put a Twitter video up with one of the other members of the Lords talking about Margaret Thatcher was in Brighton and a bomb went off or something, and she had to go to a police station and it was some kind of bomb attack. This is the thing, right? It's and in fact, Iceland has actually there are gases coming out of those eruptions. That when those volcanoes actually go off, they actually give off gases, and they actually make some of the tourists feel ill, and they have to leave the area because of the gases, right? So can you imagine if there's a town in Iceland, right, and they have a really serious volcano eruption, which can happen, and it gives off large amounts of gas near one of the towns, and let's say they've got one of these detector things, and then that goes off, and then there's an earthquake, and then what are you going to do? You know, you're not allowed to be on the streets because you get arrested because, you know, the siren's going off because there's gas everywhere, but then your house is falling down with an earthquake. There's something wrong with the Welsh government. There's something wrong with Mark Drakeford. There's something really wrong with Mark Drakeford. The fact that they've actually spent money on these and that some business or company is making a profit out of the taxpayer for getting these things put up when they've just blown all the money in the 20 mile an hour speed limit, right, all around Wales, when over 5% of the entire Welsh population of 3 million people signed a petition to say they didn't want 20 mile an hour, or they wanted a referendum at the least for it, right? And the government's continuing to buy these things and spend money. They're redeveloping our entire town centre when there's nothing wrong with it. The reason they're redeveloping the town centre is because the town centre has been redeveloped more times than any town centre in the history of planet Earth, right? The town centre has been redeveloped so many times that they're addicted to redeveloping it. Whereas if you go to Tewkesbury or Winscombe or even Dorchester or somewhere, or, you know, any place in the Cotswolds, they actually liked the place when they first built it, and then it's never changed. It's always been the same because it was that good when they built it that they liked it. Yet it's mainly the Labour Party. They build things and they can't stand what they build, and then they have to knock it down and build something else, and then they can't stand that anymore because it's crap, and then they knock it down and then they build something else, and again and again and again, and not once ever do they stand there and go, oh, I like this, it's good, just leave it now. They've got an addictive compulsive disorder, and it's about spending, and someone is making money out of it. Someone is making a profit. The new college graduate architect has got a couple of ideas in his pocket. Oh, wouldn't it be great if I could do these ideas? But no, it's not like Paul McCartney just sat there thinking up of a song, like he's a dreamer or something. No. Someone's throwing money at him. There are universities and councils, they've got money. Not millions, billions. Hey, Mr. Curly Hair, why don't you blow 50 million on your dreamer ideas, redevelop town centre? Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, no, there will be when I've finished with it. You'll never want to leave it the same as it is ever again. It's like set the dominoes rolling, when will it stop? And then when they're finished, it's such a monstrous disaster of a shrapnelled bomb site of a dogged motley mix of buildings that no one, everyone's so appalled that they resort to crime and violence, mainly because they're all poor, and then the Luddites, if they can't, smash all the machines and factories up because they won't lower the minimum wage and actually give them some money, if they built something decent in the first place, like Haworth Village or something, or even Home Firth. But even the Home Firth, the tour buses pulling the bits to pieces that people go on tour to see. It's almost kind of like, the Holy Grail. It's almost kind of like, it's going to see the mountain and then chopping the top of the mountain off, because for disability access or something. That's the mentality we're working with at the current moment. If you've got a mountain, right, you don't take people to see the mountain, right? That's the reason you would go there, and then chop the top of the mountain off and say, oh, well, it's accessible for disabled people, because then it's not a mountain anymore, is it? It's gone. There's nothing. So they're doing this in places near us, the Home Firth, last in the summer wine, come see the village, but then they tearing the village to pieces to insert disability access, and by the time they've finished, they've actually ripped out the whole thing that was in the programme, and there's nothing left. It's almost like Fawlty Towers, but they almost have to make it something wrong with it. They have to make it faulty or something, when otherwise we're perfectly alright, So I really don't know what Extinction Rebellion are actually doing now, because I'm starting to... I was really behind them, mainly on the rights, because everyone should have rights. Everyone likes animals. People want, to preserve countryside, grow wild areas, and I support Chris Packham and things like that. But then you've got this Vince Dale guy who just wants to cover the whole of England in matchsticks for his personal profit, apparently for the environment as well, which is a total mess. Yet, maybe these matchstick things might end up covering the countryside. Maybe every wind farm will have one of these things on them, and then we won't have to have them in the streets. You would have thought that Dale Vince, you'd have thought that, if his wind farms were that extensive, by the time he's finished with them, if there was that much wind, there wouldn't be any pollution in the air or toxic air, because if it was enough windy to have wind farms everywhere, the air would be moving around so quick and fast everywhere, and then any toxic air would blow away or go away. In fact, rather than collecting wind from turbines and turning it into electricity, maybe we could do some big wind generators, power them to actually blow the toxic air out of the city. Maybe like it's a cool breeze. Maybe, you see, then you wouldn't need these air detectors, because you could just blow it away. You wouldn't have to go indoors then. But it's just the idea of it. The idea of it is very, very arid. Everyone inside, or everyone do this, or everyone do that, or whatever at any given moment, just like on the motorways. Or the air toxic level's gone up now, you have to slow down a bit. That's the thing. on the motorway, right, they're saying, oh, the air quality's gone bad, so you've got to slow down. If the air quality's bad and you've got to slow down, and you've got your window open, that means that you're going to be breathing in poor air quality. You know, what they're going to do, make people wind the windows up. That's another law or rule. You ain't got your seatbelt on, ain't got a window wound up, you know, out wearing a red hat or whatever. You'd have thought that if the air quality was that bad on the motorway, they'd want people to go faster so they could get through it quicker out of the other side. Because that's counterintuitive to having these up and everyone going inside. You know, it's all doomsday now. But, you know, it's just more ways to bring fines and controlling. It's turning out that the environmentalist movements are really into this sort of like, you know, obedience culture. You know, everyone inside now and now everyone outside, you know. And I really feel like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil were about freedom and rights and things like that. People to support the environment because they want to, because they choose to, not because they're forced into by any insane, ridiculous laws that, you know, Jonathan and Fuller's wanting to bring in, you know, like, you know, you've got to walk at 5 miles an hour or any slower or faster, it has to be exactly that speed or whatever insane laws coming in. But I don't like these things. I think they're pointless. The government's already got certain weather instruments. You know, I've seen those little weather instruments here or there, or, you know, you might be driving somewhere between two towns out in the countryside and they might have a little station with a weather monitoring thing here or there to check it. Not like on every street corner. There's something really, really wrong about the whole idea, as if they might be planning some kind of chemical scare or some kind of, not even a pandemic, but I don't know what the fuck, Putin dropping some new kind of bioweapon or whatever, everyone inside. It's just more and more obedience, control and fines. It gets to the point where, you know, these police that we're going to end up with are going to be like, almost like at school, you know, tuck your shirt in, boy, tuck your shirt in, you know, or whatever, or what, you know, like, I won't be surprised if you know, the Starmer's claiming he's having everyone, the police coming around for a respect call or whatever. I don't like the idea. Look, right, if the sun fucking explodes and a big jet shoots off, everyone's going out taking the cameras to take photos of the aurora. They're not running into the houses going, oh, the sun's exploding. You know, what about acid rain? What are you going to do with that? You know, this is the thing. You know, nature is nature. It's a miracle that we actually are here and the population's growing. It's what did people do? You know, 10,000. You know, we've had noxious fumes come out. You know, some dinosaurs were very large. Around the time the dinosaurs were around, there were all kinds of gases around, sulfur, all these caves with sulfur in. Sometimes, you know, like in Iceland, it goes at a certain level. If you happen to be a giraffe or a dinosaur that's very high up, and maybe you might be above the fumes or something. It's amazing that there weren't humans just dying out as if there was anthrax everywhere when there were certain countries where volcanoes were going off and the entire, you know, like 50 miles was covered with, you know, fucking methane or sulfur or whatever up to like, you know, 8 foot in the air. You know, it's an actual miracle that humans are here through the formation of the planet, all through the, you know, all of the Jurassic. I can't even name all those eras. There's so many eras that I don't even know the names for them all. You know, 2-year-old kid probably knows them all. But, you know, one of them's Jurassic, whatever you want to call them all. It's just a miracle. But now, after all that, you know, wildness or the miracle of God, the grace of God, now Mark Drakeford thinks that, you know, oh, you know, the air quality is going down a bit, this is changing colour a little bit or something like that, you know, I better go inside or I'm going to find you. You know, it truly is a miracle that man can even walk the earth. Someone needs to stop people like Drakeford. It's not going to be Extinction Rebellion. I can't vote for the Green Party, right? If they're gonna start doing this insane shit, because it's not going to stop any serious event from happening, right? And if no one has got airproof house, because there's cracks in every door and window in houses, right? And roofs are only waterproof; they're not airtight. You know, you're not gonna get houses that are completely airtight, so it ain't gonna work. I think it's a gimmick. I think this is a gimmick. If the whole atmosphere goes to toxic levels, right, it's gonna come into your house, and then we're gonna sell what, like fucking. Never mind insulate Britain. Everyone's gonna have like, what, airtight house. I mean, come on. We need to stop these lunatics, because there are things where, if Extinction Rebellion claim that we're fucked, right, and there's all this insane weather event that's going to happen, there's absolutely zero point having this stupid detector thing, right? Because, we're just going to end up like in a Terminator movie, with the freaking flames, held onto the fucking metal fence, and all that's left is like some, like a skeleton, it's just pointless and a waste of money. And it's actually just more, it's like for those 15-minute cities, that's not for air quality. That's for actual control, obedience. Fines for not obeying things just for the sake of, well, there's no danger, but if you don't obey, you will be fined and penalised. And these kind of people, it's not good. So, I think this is a complete waste of money and a stupid idea. If you're going to have something like that, you might as well just put it on these ridiculous wind farms. I mean, it's getting to a point where you might as well, if an entire town has got to stay in because the air quality is that bad, then why not fit, fans on every street corner to blow the gases away? By the time that this thing's finished, you might, on a day when it's windy, you could have fans that collect wind and power things, right? And then on a day when the air's bad, then you could use the electricity you've got to switch them on and blow the fumes away, right? So then you wouldn't need these detector things, or not need them everywhere in every freaking street corner, or not in order to tell people to go inside, because obviously they wouldn't need to go inside, would they? But I think it's all geared towards obedience and compliance. And then you get into the fact where, well, if they can control the air quality somehow, then they can control when people are on the streets or not, or when they have to be on the streets or not. Which is just another form of making people do what you want them to do, which I think is ridiculous. But anyway, that's my opinion on them.